admin code section 4-338 provides some information regarding addenda and construction changes. Basically, any change that's made to the document after, or the approved documents after project stamp out need to be captured on addenda or construction changes. The reason being, all work that's being done has to comply with DSA approved plans. So that would include addenda and construction change documents, CCDs. Changes can always be made by addenda or CCD, but it has to be approved by DSA. IRA 6, DSA IRA 6 provides a comprehensive discussion of CCDs. You can find that on our webpage. CCDs are going to be divided into two different categories. Basically, category A has all of the items that would normally be reviewed by DSA, so that's going to identify changes affecting any structural, fire life safety, or access compliant portions of the project. Category B will be any of the other items not affected by those structural, fire, or access portions. But they're both going to be submitted on the form DSA 140. This is a change from past practice. In the past, form 140 was used for category A, and then 141 was used for category B. Well, we've gotten rid of 141, and now it's all put into the single form 140, and those are checkbox for A or B. So that's something that's new, is noted in red font there. And everything gets filled in and submitted by the design professional and gets submitted to DSA for review and approval. So it's important to make sure that the item has been approved by DSA before the work actually starts. So again, any category A CCD has to be submitted to and approved by DSA because it has structural, fire, or access scope as part of the submittal. If it's a category B, the changes are not required to be submitted to DSA unless it's specifically requested by the DSA field engineer. It's important that the project inspector maintain a copy of all the approved category A CCDs in the project inspector job file. If the project inspector determines changes appear to require DSA approval, but one wasn't submitted because it's then the project inspector would need to notify the design professional and DSA. And again, this would be if the project inspector happened to notice that the changes affected structural, fire, or access. We rely on the project inspector to notify us to make sure those items are submitted as CCDs. A new item here in the red font. We've started processing CCDs differently than before. So now they're going to be done by a Bluebeam EPR, that stands for Electronic Plan Review. In the past, it was always uploaded into Box, and then we would review it electronically and then put the copy back into Box. Well, it's still, the approved copy will still find its way to Box, but all of the work for the submittal and the review is going to be done in Bluebeam now. So basically the same end result from your standpoint. And then addenda submission requirements that need to be the same as for CCDs about whether or not DSA needs to review it. It all comes down to whether if it has structural, fire, or access scope as part of the submittal. So here are some cases where the project inspector may need to issue a deviation. That would be done again on the form DSA 154. So anytime construction has started without DSA approved plans, that would absolutely be a case when a deviation would be warranted. And then also any work that's being performed that has structural, fire, life safety, or access portions of the project, if it's not in accordance with the DSA approved document, so if they're deviating from what was approved or outlined on the documents, then that would be a deviation. Or if they're using a construction change document, so a revision, addendum, or CCD, if it hasn't been officially approved by DSA yet, but they're starting to build off of it prior to getting the DSA approval, then that would warrant a deviation as well. And then down at the bottom here, this just shows a small snippet of what the 154 form looks like. You can find that on our webpage.